Hello there, and welcome back to TerraFirmaCraft. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Boy, those dogs are loud. You can hear them all the way across the river. So don't panic, but I think today's going to be the final episode of TerraFirmaCraft on 1.18. I've been trying to figure out what to do. I've generally run out of ideas. And also, I do want to take more time to work on the mod that I want to get implemented for TerraFirmaCraft for my 1.20 series. And balancing that and 3 episodes a week, not quite doable. So, unless someone has suggestion for something they would like to see, which I can do in an episode or two, I think the plan is we're going to be switching over to all the mods 9 on Fridays. Going to keep Vintage Story on Tuesdays, and I'm going to spend the extra time modding. Speaking of modding, I have an update for you guys. So how about we jump over into my 1.20 world, my test world, and I'll show you what we're up to. And here we are in one of my 1.20 worlds. And I do mean one of, because I have 4 different instances of 1.20 on my machine, because I'm testing out just a whole assortment of different mods at the same time. And writing my own mods, I had to have an individual one just for that. So yeah, but here we are. And as you can see, the furniture is working. This is something being note of. Dismounting the chair sticks you inside it. You do have to jump. Not sure if that's in McCall's mod, or if I just need to move the exit point. But yeah, so here's a little assortment of furniture. If we go into here, go to the furniture tab, you see all the different wood types. I just realized there's music playing under this. There we go. I got my own music. I don't need in-game music too. So we have all the different furniture types. I did make 2 changes to the cabinet drawers. They now take rods. Any rod. So you can use, copper or zinc, and they give 8. In McCrawl's mod, the base one, the cabinet drawers take a iron nugget. Well, you can't get iron nuggets, and iron's a lot harder to get in TerraFirmaCraft. So yeah, we go off the rod, and you get 8 instead of 1 per craft, and that's true for both the door and the drawer, which are of course used in a bunch of these different recipes. The cabinets, they have the TFC chest system, so they have 2 rows of 9 instead of 3 rows of 9. You cannot put very large objects in. They do not, what's it called? They don't double up. They connect, the textures connect, but they don't double up, so you don't wind up with a double chest by placing 2 on top of each other. But yeah, so we have all these different pieces of furniture. They are all implemented, both, as you can see, stripped and non-stripped versions. You can make yourself a nice desk. Have a nice coffee table. Oh, and we do have glass tables. The glass tables now use a pane instead of a block. I will see about making it so that you have stained glass for each of these tables, but that's not a priority right now, so I'm going to focus on other stuff. Right now we've got all the furniture in and working. All right, let's jump back into 1.18. Looks good, doesn't it? I'm pretty pleased with it. I do like the look of the Douglas fir and the hickory furniture in particular. So yeah, when we get into 1.20, I'm gonna have to make sure I find some Douglas fir and some hickory trees. But since we're gonna be ending, why don't we just take a moment, we walk around and look at, well, everything I've done so far. Well, done this year. Because it has been about 9 months since I started this world. And as I said in episode 1, TerraFirmaCraft is my favorite mod pack for Minecraft. I just, well, I didn't even think it was going to do that well, and then it ends up blowing up on me, being my best series so far. Well, you know, not hard. I've got all of 3 series. But, so we have our doghouse here, inspired in part by Growly's mansion from the episode of Pokemon with James's childhood. We got a whole collection of dogs in here. I like the palette. I like how this is supposed to be white terracotta, but sort of has this light pinkish color to it. Matches goes well with the light blue wood. Yeah. And then we just got these light blue alabaster stone pillars to help hold it up. As a not very good builder, I think this came out quite well. I even got a bit of an angle on it, give it a little interesting shape to it. But this, okay, I'm actually, as simple as this is, I'm actually kind of proud of how the covered bridge came out. It does remind me of some of the covered bridges I saw when I was up in Massachusetts. Sorry, where was I? I was in Vermont and New Hampshire. Right, because I was... where was I? I used to go on vacation to Vermont. We'd go to where they grew maple trees, harvested the syrup, and made, well, maple syrup from it. It's not a brewery, it's not a farm, but you get the idea. I don't know what they call it specifically, not anymore. I remember buying their maple sugar cookies, which are literally just maple syrup dried into cookies. It's 100% sugar. It was awesome and terrible at the same time. But yeah, I remember some covered bridges like that in the area, and that's what it reminds me of. Then of course we got our grove, where I tried to get one of every tree. I could not find palm trees. Not that I think palm trees would do too well up here. And the inspiration behind this is actually from my university. My university has at least one of every tree on campus. That's native to North America. With the exception of the palm tree, yet again. And so, you know, we've got all the different fruit trees. Some of them never actually grew. And then my orange trees and plum trees, I think, died before they had a chance to grow. So we've got all the colder climate trees grown. We have all the wood-based trees grown. I covered the area in all these different flowers. Gives it a nice feel. I could have probably done with making the paths a little better so we don't wind up with snow everywhere. But yeah, I think this looks nice. And I do like the white cedar trees. And the sycamore. Okay, I just like too many of the different things in this mod pack. You see why it's my favorite. And then we have our greenhouse, which unfortunately is no longer green thanks to being upgraded to stainless steel, because the weathered copper turned it green. So it was a greenhouse. Yeah. Anyway, I could have done this a little more efficiently. This water's in a 5x5, so I could fill in these 9 spots there and these 2 here, and water everything together at once. But honestly, with just me in this world, what this produces is more than enough to feed me completely. I don't need any other farms or anything else. Well, okay, that's not 100% true. I've got some maize over here growing me corn, so I have consistent grain to make bread. And then we got potatoes, cabbage, onions, carrots, even soybeans, so we have some protein if we're not interested in butchering our many animals over there. And we got our one little bonsai apple tree. And this I'll be able to recreate in 1.20 almost completely using, well, the new mechanical power that they're introducing. The pipes do only have, I think it's a 16 block range, so we'd have to be a fair bit closer to the water. Although that said, we could probably pump out of a river into a reservoir and then pump out of that reservoir into another reservoir and just chain reservoirs together. That would probably work. I'm not sure if we're able to pump into a barrel. I should have tested that. I didn't test that. But if that's the case, then we can have, our reservoir pumping in, put the barrel up there, and have the sprinkler providing water to anything underneath it. If not, so we have to bucket water out and put it into the barrel. That's not a huge issue, depending on how quickly the sprinkler goes through water. And next we have our barns. I must say, and I should have probably done this with some of the other stuff. Going to free cam here. I'm very happy with how the roofs turned out for specifically the barns. This one in particular, although the little ones are not bad, they're just not quite as good as the big one. I did do this out of the birch. Had I had white cedar at the time, I would have probably used the white cedar because I think that would have looked even better. But yeah, I mean, it's actually got that curve too, so it looks authentic. Next time though, I don't think I'm going to worry about breeding pigs. They're too many. I think I'll focus on alpacas since they are better for wool production. They produce wool every 6 days as opposed to every 11 days for sheep. I'll probably go with goats also. Yeah, and goats have enough kids that you don't have to worry about being short on food. Literally, look at all those kids. Oh, but we did see in here, we have our first mule, Buggy. I'm not going to click on him because he is, well, bugged out. I don't know what did it, but if I try opening his inventory, game crashes. I think I do know what it was. I think I put the chests on him while he was still a baby before he had a chance to grow, and so that bugged him out. So we got Buggy in there, and then we got Shorty over here. Size 1. It's as small as they get. They get as large as 6. No, not 16. 16 is not the largest they get. They get, I think, as large as 30. But I did not breed anything to be that big. And that might be a goal for next season, is actually see about... Maybe I will get one set of pigs and just see if I can't breed the biggest pig. That might be funny. And then I built this little... Well, it's not a chicken coop because it's full of quail. But a little quail coop. And I have done absolutely nothing with any of them. Like, I don't even harvest the eggs because there's really not much of a need. Oh, I left that door open. So yeah, well, I wish there's more I could have done with them. They're a little annoying because they grow up so fast that you don't really have time to fully raise their familiarity. It's going to take you a few generations to get 100% familiarity on quail. So I never really even bothered. You know, the irony doesn't escape me that my whole idea behind working on the Macraw's mods to make them compatible with TFC was so I can furnish my house. And here I am, I finally got furniture for the houses, but in 1.20, which I'm not in right now, and I'm going to be ending my series before I even consider updating the mod to be good for 1.18. But yeah, so we got our main structure here. I tried doing support beams like BOO was doing in his Hermitcraft build. I think it was Hermitcraft. It may have been his building with B-Dub series. It's not nearly as good, obviously. It's much shorter, but it does sort of give it a nice structural look to it. I definitely use a lot more improvement. The kitchen's rather bare bones. The most kitchenist part of it is the floor. Got the 2 ovens, and that's it. A smokehouse for smoking meat, which really isn't efficient in 118. Yeah, there was really no point in smoking anything. I mean, you could smoke pork, salt it, and then turn it into bacon, but yeah, there was just no reason to. It didn't increase the it's just not worth the effort currently. That's something I think could use to be worked on a bit. Of course, we've got all of our barrels down here. This, I like how this is. It kind of reminds me of a wine cellar with all the barrels. Had all of our vinegar in these and all of our, well, beer and whatnot, which we turned into vinegar. And of course, we had our milk and our curds and cream and yeast and oil. The cellar turned out nice. Again, it's a little... I could have done more with it. I only added these jars recently, or the jarbonets recently. And now in 1.20, we're going to have our own jars. In TerraFirmaCraft, it's not going to need Firma to work. But yeah, this looks nice. I like it. And then we have our workshop, which, well, I was happy with before, but now with the upgrades, thanks to Create, this just, it makes it so much nicer. We can turn on the conveyor belt system up top. Oh wait, that needs to be down and that needs to be up. Right. Anyway, we power the system. We can load items in, take them up, swap which direction the belt goes, and that will either pour the items into our blast furnace or our bloomery. And we can actually automate filling them. And then we have the deployer to automate the bellows. We can technically automate this one too. Just throw this switch. No need to do it right now. Did not end up automating filling this with charcoal. It was a little bit of it just wasn't worth the effort. I would have had to install more of the mechanical hands. Mechanical hands? What are they called? Mechanical arms. In order to add coal to here, it's just easier for me to add coal manually. But we do have the chute here, so we could put a chest up here or a toolbox. We just put toolbox up there. If it has the ores in, it'll feed it all the way down automatically, and we can fire the ingots that way. And of course, downstairs we have this very convenient setup here, which allows us to automate making most things. Won't be able to do this in 1.20 without Create. I think I'm gonna miss this the most, being able to automate turning, well, just about anything. Automate turning the raw iron bloom into the refined and then into the raw iron ingots. That's the biggest time saver of anything here. Put the raw bloom in here, have everything set up how it needs to, and it just prints out refined bloom for me. And we have this, just our bulk storage. Our display link going over here to a board that is half obscured and doesn't even show a fraction of what's in it. 15,000 items. And then we have my factory. And again, I was very happy with how this factory turned out. First off, I love the look. Again, the roofing really gives it sort of that early industrial look to it. I could have probably done better with the color palette. It's kind of bland, although I do like having the shafts and these I can't look at them to see what they're called from the angle. I think I'm gonna have to wooden brackets. That's the wrong location for it. Much better. Yeah, the wooden brackets sort of gives it a... I put it in the wrong spot. Was it always in the wrong spot? It must have always been in the wrong spot. Gives it a nice You know, I'm not even sure how to describe it, but I like it. Then automated scraping of hides and making of paper. We've got the automated silk production. Yeah, okay, I used up all the string, so now this has... I'm gonna have to break that to get all the string off it. Then we have plenty of wool and automated yarn for cloth production. And then just all the wood I'm ever gonna need. I do not need all the wood I've produced. This wood farm over here is far too efficient. Honestly, so is the bamboo farm. I don't need both of them. Although, again, 1.20 having... Well, we're not going to create to do this with, but getting bamboo to automate production of sticks is going to probably be really useful. So I'm not going to have a tree farm to get infinite logs with. We got our alpaca and our automated shearing system. It's kind of empty right now. And we've got our cow and our automated milking, which is 100% full of milk. And then, of course, we had our little... Oh, this room is always dark. We've got our steam engine down here providing just a little extra power. We've got our water wheel in here providing power to our elevator, which we can take all the way down into the bowels of our world. And then we can come right back up. This is taking longer than I remember it. There we go. Oh, look, we've got a welcoming party of creepers. Well, let's not stick around too long. I don't feel like messing with creepers today. Honestly, though, I don't feel like dealing with anything really today. You know how you can feel that you're going to be sick before you're sick? Yeah, I woke up this morning feeling sick. Feeling that I was going to be sick, should I say. And then I felt better after about an hour. But I can definitely tell that tomorrow I am going to be sick. So, yeah, I'm getting this video done tonight. It's Wednesday night. Have it fully edited so I don't have to worry about it at all. And it can take until Saturday to feel better again. That said, well, we've done a little tour of everything. Pretty much. Oh, I didn't do our first original watermill hut. So let's run over there real quick. And of course we've got... I said I didn't want to deal with you guys today. Okay. Nope, we still got... I should have waited till this morning. That was not cool. This is where all the creepers are. They're not in my mob farm, they're in my house. Oh, my watermill. So we set up the watermill. It was primarily for the create mill, which right after I set up the building, the Mr. Serious Creeper, the guy who put together the Series TerraFirmaCraft mod pack, changed the recipe so that you could no longer mill grain in the millstone, which was the whole reason I set up the water mill. So this building became obsolete the minute I built it. So I ended up doing this, adding the sluice. And I don't know about other people, but I feel like the sluice and penning is almost useless. It's got a very niche use, but with the prevalency of copper ore on the surface, there's almost no reason for you to go into water to get copper deposit gravel and sluice it, and then there's no reason to pan it, and then there's no reason to need a sluice, because by the time you reach the point where you're making a sluice, you probably have already started your first copper and zinc mine, and you're well on your way to bronze, if not already on iron. And then there's just no point to this. So I feel like Panning and sluicing are the one thing in TerraFirmaCraft that absolutely needs the biggest upgrade, but I have absolutely no ideas for how to improve it. So I'm really not in a position to, you know, say anything, because, you know, I think it's important, if you're going to criticize something, to have constructive criticism. If you don't like how something works, make a suggestion. If you're just saying I don't like X, well, you're not helping anyone improve it. You're just complaining. And I feel like it needs work. I feel like it needs something more than a niche utility, but I can't think of how to improve it. But on that note, guys, I'm gonna call it end here. Like I said, I want to get this video done tonight because I know I'm not getting anything done tomorrow. And yeah, if you have any suggestions for other things you would love to see in 1.18, leave a comment. I'll make a video. Otherwise, we're going to be bringing all the mods 9 to Fridays, and I'm going to just spend the extra time working on the mod pack, trying to make sure everything works for 1.20. I've still got a lot of work to do. And then once I'm happy with that, I'll launch the mod pack. I'll make sure it's available to everyone, and we'll see where we go from there. Until then, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me on this adventure for 1.20, and I'll see you next time. Later.